This is Operation Makhachev to the belt. After Islam Makhachev's big win against Thiago Moises, he's now in the position to start taking on some top 5, top 10 contenders of the lightweight division and start working towards that title shot that he's been looking for so long, and eventually, if it goes his way, getting that world championship belt in the 155-pound division. And there are many pathways he can go down to get to that belt at the end, and I thought I'd break them down in today's video, which is the multiple pathways of Islam Makhachev to get towards the 155-pound title. We have the legacy one over here, which is not the most logical matchups, but it's mainly just how many big names can Islam Makhachev get on his resume on his way to the title shot in the 155-pound division. What is not maybe the most logical way, but what is the biggest massive fights you can make right now with Islam Makhachev, with all the storyline behind them on his way to the championship. Down here, we've got the fast track option. This is not really any logic either. But if they really want to get behind Islam Makhachev and really forcefully push him towards that world championship, because I know they want to take hold of Khabib's leftover fan base because they need to get behind someone, and Islam Makhachev is the perfect guy. So if you're the UFC, you kind of want to have Islam Makhachev as the champion of the 155-pound division right now. Islam Makhachev, the fast track option, this is to get him to the belt as soon as you possibly can. There's only 2 tiers in that stage. Over here, we've got the logical side, Islam Makhachev again. This is the most logical way to get him to the belt. It's a slow step process, 3 different fights. The last one, I believe, is going to be for the belt. And this is the most logical way to get Islam Makhachev to the belt. It's the safest way to get Islam Makhachev to the belt as well. And let's go through them right now. The legacy side of things to begin. Islam Makhachev, his first opponents, if he wants to get a big name right now, he's already called this man out, but he's actually called a lot of people out, so that doesn't really narrow it down. It's Mr. Sunglasses himself, Tony Ferguson. Right now, still, I believe, above Islam Makhachev, barely in the lightweight division, just because of his former success going on that 12-fight win streak. But this is very self-explanatory. Islam Makhachev, Tony Ferguson, Khabib in the corner. You could even put Khabib at the press conference. I wouldn't even mind, in all honesty. They could do a press conference between Islam Makhachev and Tony Ferguson, and then halfway through the press conference, Khabib comes in, tags Makhachev out, and takes the position in the press conference just for a little bit of trash talk between him and Tony Ferguson. This is the closest thing right now we can ever get to Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. The fight that we never got. It makes all the sense in the world. Khabib's prodigy versus Tony Ferguson, now an older veteran on the slide. The only reason I don't think this is the most logical matchup to make next, which is why I've put it in the legacy category, is because Tony Ferguson is fading. I feel like we know Makhachev probably would be able to sit in half guard against Tony Ferguson for as long as he needs to, because a lot of people seem to be able to just lay on top of Tony Ferguson now, and they didn't used to be able to do that before, but now it seems a little bit easier to do. I feel like Tony Ferguson's fading a little bit. His testosterone levels, in my opinion, are starting to go downwards because he just doesn't seem to have that explosiveness anymore that the other athletes do have in the 155-pound division. So I think Islam Makhachev, Tony Ferguson, massive fight to make, main event of a fight night. Sign me up. It could even be the feature fight of a pay-per-view as well. This is a massive fight, and if he wants to continue down the legacy route on to the next stage, Islam Makhachev with a big win over Tony Ferguson could get his hands on Mr. Conor McGregor. I told you this as well after the performance against Thiago Moises. I know a lot of people right now are starting to say this means he's going to be the world champion. I truly believe, and I don't mean to offend any of his fucking fan base by saying this, but I truly believe that Conor McGregor might look at Islam Makhachev and think to himself, I actually do stand a chance against him. I think I maybe could win that one. Don't get me wrong, he's got a broken leg. He's going to need a lot of time off, which is why the Tony Ferguson fight in the meantime might make a little bit of sense. Let's say Makhachev fights Tony Ferguson in November, turn around afterwards 3 months later in February maybe to take on Conor McGregor, or March of next year, however long it takes Conor McGregor to recover. But if Makhachev beats Tony Ferguson, he's probably going to be floating around number 5 or number 6 or maybe even number 4 of the lightweight division. So that means means he'll be above Conor McGregor, and McGregor can gain something by fighting Makhachev to get back into the title picture, and also maybe try and entice Khabib Nurmagomedov to come back and fight McGregor for the second time and make the biggest fight in UFC history. That would be amazing. Conor McGregor versus Islam Makhachev could be a reality, and I just think it would be a great fight to make. And also, if there's no belt on the line, they don't have to pay Islam Makhachev pay-per-view points, and that's something that the UFC will be really liking the idea of. Conor McGregor without a belt, or not fighting a champion with a belt, is actually really good for the UFC, because they're under no obligation to pay these other fighters that are taking on McGregor pay-per-view points. I mean, Poirier had to earn pay-per-view points by beating McGregor the second time, so if Islam Makhachev can get Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor on his resume, that is a massive star power resume in the making, and he can finish it all off with a big win after the Conor McGregor and Tony Ferguson ones against Dustin Poirier for the belt. I do believe Dustin Poirier is going to beat Charles Oliveira, which is why I've used his picture here, because I think by this time Poirier will be the lightweight champion of the world, and you can't justify making the McGregor quadrilogy once Poirier gets the belt. McGregor needs to win a fight in the meantime, and maybe Makhachev could be that guy. I know Khabib fans would love the idea of maybe seeing McGregor lose again to another Dagestani guy, but I think that'd be a great fight, great storyline, main event of a pay-per-view. Let's be real, it's McGregor. They're going to do it as a main event of a pay-per-view. That would be really good for Makhachev if he wins. Listen, Khabib was not really a big name until he fought McGregor. He had his fan base, but once you beat McGregor, look at Nate Diaz. And then Nate Diaz goes off and spawns Masvidal's career as well. Also, Ben Askren played a part, but McGregor has ties to all of the big names around his weight divisions in the UFC, and I think he can make a big name in Makhachev, but also Makhachev, Poirier. Imagine the resume of Makhachev. All of the names that he already has, plus Ferguson, McGregor, Poirier. That would be amazing, and he's only just got the belt if he wins all of them. Moving on to the fast-track option. Islam Makhachev, if he wants to get straight towards the title shot, he needs to go straight towards a title elimination bout, which I believe will be against Mr. Beneil Dariush. And you know why this also could happen very likely? Is because Ali Abdelaziz manages Beneil Dariush. And if you asked me who do I think Ali Abdelaziz wants more on his roster of fighters, I would go towards Islam Makhachev. Don't get me wrong, Beneil Dariush is a great guy, but I feel like he sees more star potential in Islam Makhachev. He's already got more of a following than Beneil Dariush as well. So this is an easy fight to make because they're both managed by the same guy. Beneil Dariush is free right now as well and wants to turn around at the end of the year. So why not do Islam Makhachev, Beneil Dariush? Opener of the main card of a pay-per-view coming up soon, maybe even the main event of a fight night. I feel like we should go down the line of doing more great main events of fight nights because I feel like we don't get enough of them nowadays. Looking forward to Sandhagen Dillashaw this weekend, one of the few great main events of a fight night this year so far. Makhachev versus Beneil Dariush, great main event of a fight night. Dariush has wins over Ferguson as well, so it's also a jump up compared to this way of doing things, and he's also number 3 in the division, so if Islam Makhachev wins with the resume that he already has, couple guys lose at the top, all of a sudden Islam Makhachev might be number 2 in the division, maybe even number 3. You could kind of justify a title shot if no one else around him is worthy. Islam Makhachev, Beneil Dariush could very well happen, and if he does win that one, Islam Makhachev should then go on and fight for the belt against, obviously I've put Charles Oliveira here. I know I said that I think Poirier beats Oliveira, but I just wanted some Oliveira representation. I don't want to completely disrespect him as a champion. He very well could beat Dustin Poirier. I genuinely think that's like a 55 to 45% chance for Poirier. That's a very, very close fight. Poirier probably wins it 6 out of 10 times in my opinion, but Charles Oliveira is very dangerous, so I didn't want to just completely overlook him and disrespect him as champion. Let's put him on here somehow and represent Oliveira in some way. Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, this way as well. This is sort of cleaning up Khabib's resume, but Dustin Poirier, Khabib has already beaten. Some of the other guys in the lightweight division, Khabib has already beaten. These are 2 guys that Khabib has no history with, and it would be good for Islam Makhachev to get the other names in the lightweight division that Khabib never really got on his way to the belt. So, Beneil Dariush, Charles Oliveira, that's the most logical way for a title shot if they are going to do that. I wouldn't say that he's earned a title shot with win over Beneil Dariush, especially if maybe Justin Gaethje beats a Michael Chandler in the meantime, or someone else gets it, but that's the only way it could be. If Gaethje doesn't beat Michael Chandler next, or another big name in the lightweight division next, I would assume if Makhachev beats Dariush, he's probably going to have earned a title shot after Poirier gets his. Moving on to the logical stage of this video, Islam Makhachev, this is the most logical way to do things, the safest way to get Islam Makhachev to the belt, and also some way I really do believe is going to happen, in all honesty, next. This is what I think the UFC will do. Islam Makhachev versus the guy he called out in Rafael dos Anjos. Great matchup to make. Rafael dos Anjos, history with Khabib. Little bit of beef with Khabib as well. They were going back and forth not too long ago. I remember RDA was saying he made Khabib tap. Pretty fucking delusional from RDA. He didn't tap whatsoever. But either way, Islam Makhachev, Rafael dos Anjos. And this would really sort of compare how good Islam Makhachev in comparison to Khabib is. You know what I mean? Because we always compare Makhachev to Khabib, but if we can see Makhachev take on a guy that Khabib did really well against and Khabib has fought before, maybe it would tell us how he sort of stacks up in comparison, and that'd be a good thing to do next. And also, it's a great matchup. RDA has accepted it before. Now Makhachev's coming off a bigger win and is higher ranked up the lightweight division. I'm sure RDA wouldn't mind accepting that one again. It's a massive fight, main event of a fight night again, main card of a pay-per-view if you need it to be as well. Islam Makhachev, Rafael dos Anjos, amazing matchup. I don't need to say any more. And it's a tough matchup as well for Islam Makhachev. This would be a solid test over where he would sort of hang with the top guys in the lightweight division. RDA is kind of a good... He's basically acting like a bit of a Derek Brunson right now. And maybe Islam Makhachev could beat him. And if he does, then we'd start talking about title shots, title elimination bouts. And after RDA, Islam Makhachev should next go in the direction of, and this is what I think the UFC will do, he should go in the direction of the loser of Poirier versus Oliveira, which I believe is going to be Charles Oliveira. So I've used his picture here. This is the loser of Poirier Oliveira. This would be the most safe way to get Makhachev to the belt. I believe the UFC really badly wants Makhachev to get towards that world title shot. And this is the way you do it. You kind of rig it in their favor a little bit. RDA fight is not rigging it in his favour. Tough matchup, but he's an older guy, so it makes sense to go for him. Then you've got Charles Oliveira coming off a loss. He's an older guy as well. I know he's 32, but he might be 33 soon by the time this matchup happens, and he might be coming off a KO loss to Dustin Poirier, and he's had a couple of other KO losses in his career, and he'll lose a little bit of momentum and confidence going in there against Islam Makhachev. And the grappling matchup of Makhachev versus Oliveira, sign me the fuck up, because a lot of people think Oliveira would be the style that would give Khabib problems. Now Makhachev can try and beat that style that might give Khabib problems, and then you get that storyline there as well. Islam Makhachev versus the loser of Poirier Oliveira. If it's Oliveira, if it's Poirier, I could see them doing the quadrilogy between him and McGregor, just because Poirier would do it for the payday. He wouldn't fight Makhachev when he can fight Conor McGregor. Makhachev versus the loser of Poirier Oliveira, and if he wins that one, of course, right back towards the title shot of Dustin Poirier, and that's how it should go. Right back to the title. Islam Makhachev is very close. One fight can be done if certain circumstances unfold, and Gaethje loses next, and you can't make him for the belt. Or he does 2 more fights and then gets his title shot. I think that's the most logical thing to do. He's also young, 29. Let's save it until he's 30. He's closer to his prime. Don't get me wrong, the Thiago Moises performance was good. It was also Thiago Moises, so it's kind of hard to tell if he really will beat those top guys. So maybe a bit of a longer route would be better for Islam Makhachev. He's got time on his side here. And if they don't do the loser of Poirier Oliveira, or if Dustin Poirier loses to Charles Oliveira, I guess you could go the direction of Beneil Dariush, RDA before him, RDA, Beneil Dariush, and then the winner of Poirier versus Oliveira. If it's Oliveira, then I guess it will be this way round. But you know what I'm talking about. There's many different things you can do with Islam Makhachev right now. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. He's going to be a future superstar in the UFC, no doubt, and I look forward to seeing what they do with him next. I just really, really hope that he stays active, because that's one of the big problems that Khabib had in his career around this very moment as well. I'm almost seeing almost identical pathway here. I don't want to really get too excited about Makhachev getting towards the belt, because if you remember, Khabib was dominating everyone in the lightweight division, beating all of these lower ranked contenders. He got to the top area where he was maybe 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot, and then the inactivity began. So hopefully he doesn't get the Khabib curse of injuries, and Islam Makhachev can stay healthy, stay active, fight again in November against Rafael dos Anjos, fight again after that in a title elimination bout maybe next year in March, and then come back around again towards the end of 2022 and get his title shot and begin his reign as champion at 30, and we'll see what kind of guys he's defending against then. But this is pathways to the title for Islam Makhachev. See you later. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. Toodle pip.